Hi, very nice to meet you.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It's a little bit overcast outside. I think it might try to rain. Um, but other than that, it's good. I get to speak with you, which is a joy, and then I get to go teach guitar for what? What's today? Monday. So I'll teach about 6 hours of guitar lessons this afternoon and evening. So not a bad day. Can't complain.
Oh, it's a good day. I love guitar. I used to play when I was younger.
Oh, why don't you play anymore?
It's life.
Yeah, yeah. Life has
Life
a way of doing
happens.
that. Life happens. Exactly. Yes.
Let's begin with the questions for the new album.
Okay.
About the title of the album. Um, it's a pretty bold statement. Uh, the name of the band. And what was behind that decision?
It's funny. A lot of people have framed it as being like a bold decision, and I totally get why. But it's funny because the way we came to the decision to sell this album was not this like sort of explosive moment of revelation where the angels spoke to us from on high and told us what to do. It was pretty mundane. We had a Google document with, I don't know, 20, 30 possible song to our album titles, and none of them were really doing it for us. We thought, okay, well, maybe this album is where we get away from the one word album titles and we'll try something else. So we tried 2 words and 3 words and a whole sentence, and it just never came together. And at some point, I mentioned, I think I mentioned it like in a group text message. I said, what if we'd self-titled it? And we talked about it on a call later, and everybody had the same kind of reaction, which was, huh. It wasn't, oh my God, that's what we've been waiting for, but it was, huh. Because none of us had really thought about it. At least hadn't thought about it in more than just a passing sense. And the more we chewed on it, and the more we thought about what we wanted to convey with these songs and about these songs, we realized that it kind of had to be self-titled. That if we were to present, I hesitate to say a concept record because that evokes a certain kind of like 1970s prog rock pretension that we were definitely not aiming for. But to tell fictional stories for the first time, because all of our other albums have always been very autobiographical, um, but to tell a story about characters that aren't real in a world that doesn't exist, and maybe there's a little bit of us in it, but it's mostly that. And to have more songs on an album than we've ever had before, and for it to be our first album with David Small on bass, and all of these things wrapped up, it really, if we feel as strongly about it as we think we do, then it has to be self titled. It has to be an acknowledgement on our part that this is the most fully realized version of this band to date. And also, it was good enough for Metallica to do it their fifth album, so, it works for us too.
Okay, I agree with you. It's simple. It's said everything. It's the album. It's awesome, and or just happen naturally as you were writing the songs, the music.
So can you repeat the first part? My connection went in and out for a moment, and I missed the
Ah,
first part.
this album, I think it's more energetic, more. It's
Oh
like more.
yes, yes. It
uh,
was okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, it was all of the above. You know, the last album was so introspective and personal, and truthfully, like all of our songs have generally been pretty slow. I mean, even a song like A Vernal Gate has fast parts in it, but otherwise is not a super fast song. Um, and we just had found ourselves really gravitating towards more up-tempo music that we were listening to. As we revisit the classics, I mean, you can see I'm wearing a Metallica shirt, We're not playing at Damage Inc. speed or anything like that, but for us, this is fast. Um, and Zach had put it very concisely that we wanted an album full of, as he put it, bangers. An album full of songs that we could play on stages from small clubs to big festivals. And if you had never heard us before, any one of the songs on this album could reach out and grab you and pull you in. Different layers, not there isn't emotional depth to it, but that there's an immediacy to it, and that we wanted to really put that um, put that at the forefront to embrace that immediacy rather than saying how many layers can we work into this. At the end of the day, saying, does this riff grab you by the throat and refuse to let go? Then this is probably the right riff for this song. Then this is probably the right song for this album. That kind of thinking. And we wound up with an album full of, for us, pretty fast songs.
I already listened to the album, I think 3, 4 times only today. I was listening my things in my house and cleaning the things, and oh my gosh, again. I love
Yes,
it.
thank you. That was
It's
certainly part
very
of it too,
very
that we wanted to embrace songwriting. We wanted to challenge ourselves to write songs that would get stuck in your head without just resorting to the most basic song structures. And that's not to say that there aren't bands that do that well. Verse, bridge, chorus, great. But for us, we want it to be a little weirder, but not so weird that when people are listening to it, they can't find something to hold on to. And that means big choruses. That means big guitar solos. That means, epic moments, fast epic moments, slow epic moments, bass solos, just really just trying to crank it all up.
yes. There's a lot of layers. Like it's not the same thing. It's ups and downs. It's
Yeah,
very
we
good.
tried to have it be dynamic. Absolutely.
Yes, and sorry, I'm have my questions here because my
No
English
need
is
to
not so
apologize. It's
good.
absolutely fine.
Invocation of a Dreamer opens both the albums and it's I think the first video.
Mhm.
Why this song? Does it represent the whole record, or did you pick it because it stands out? It's the stronger one.
I mean, I guess it's kind of all of those things. We definitely knew that it stood out. Um, and we knew that, I mean, when we were writing it, we knew it was the album opener. And the album opener, in my mind, for any good metal album, gives you a sense of what the album is going to be about, but doesn't just tell you everything to expect from all the songs. Because if I can listen to that one song and then I don't get surprised for the rest of the album, then I feel like the band has missed an opportunity. So we have elements of a lot of things in that song, but by the time you get to the end of the album, you go, oh, there were all these other things in there too. But we knew that it would grab the listener's attention when they put the record on. We knew that it would be a way to make a statement with the first single. I mean, it starts with blast beats. We have a little section of blast beats at the end of a Vernal Gate from the previous record, but we'd never opened a song with blast beats. We'd never had such an overtly sort of black metal section in any of our songs. But it also felt very natural to have that in there. It wasn't like we said, okay, yeah, we need a big black metal part at the beginning of the song. It was just Phil and I wrote this riff. We were trying to figure out what to do with it. And Zach said, what if I blast all the way under it? We are like, absolutely. And then I said, what if I have a really long, high pitched scream at the beginning? Absolutely. And then it comes in with this kind of like, slow for thrash, but fast for Khemmis kind of aggressive riff. Um, but it's still dynamic, like you're saying. Like there are tempo changes and there's a little clean guitar break and there's all these little elements that have always been in our music. Guitar harmonies, the big chorus, the big chunky riffs. But that again, everything to quote Spinal Tap, everything is turned up to 11 in many ways. And if we're going to much the same way that if we're going to name the album after ourselves because we're making a statement, then we should open with the song that we feel declares most unabashedly, this is where we are, this is who we are. Come on in, the water's fine.
Yes, it's very good. I already, oh my gosh, I was very amazing about the video. And the other one, beneath the sci-fi, was described as digging even deeper into the band's sense of purpose. It's there a track on this album that you consider the real heart of the record? It's about the second one, the second lyric
Yeah.
video. It's a strong song too. I think the image that the video it's very strong. It's very there's a lot of meanings in there.
Yeah. That I love how that video came out. Dave, our bass player, put that together using archival footage of some of the earliest movies in human history, you know, like early 1900s stuff from I don't remember what archive the that one film archive, um
Yes.
and heightening that kind of fictional storytelling with these surreal images, um and in many ways contrasting the imagery you get from the first video, where yes, there is this magical and occult kind of stuff, but it feels very like in the world. Well, I mean, in large part because you see us and you see the actresses who play the witches, but here having this archival footage paired with the song, I think gives it this really cool surreal feel and a very classic feel, which pairs well because it is in many ways a very classic song, classic Khemmis in a lot of ways, but it's also us, wearing our influences on our sleeves, our love of Iron Maiden, our love of Jude, these kinds of elements. I mean, God knows, like there's At the Gates in there too, and there's Merciful Fate in there too. Like all of those things getting put through the Khemmis machine in much the same way that all of that early cinema getting put through the Khemmis machine as Dave was figuring out which clips to use and how to treat them, and Phil was doing the text overlays by hand. One of the things that I love so much about this band and that I take so much pride in with this band is that we know that any kind of creative input from any of us is going to go through that Khemmis machine and is going to come out as something different than what we could have ever expected. And I think when musicians, especially, maybe all artists, when they first start creating in a collaborative environment, it's hard to let your ideas go and be worked on by other people because you feel like they're so precious. They are slices of your life. You're like, these are my riffs, these are my lyrics, this is my whatever. And what we have found being in this band for a long time and just getting older is you find a real joy in collaborating with people and bringing in these ideas and handing them over to other people and saying, now what are you going to do with it? And that's the way we write songs. Even if someone comes in and says, I have an idea for a song, cool, bring the idea in. Now I'm going to tweak it. Now Dave's going to tweak it. Zach's going to tweak it. We're going to go all the way around. And it's going to sound different than we could have ever expected. And it's always, 100% of the time, it's always more exciting. And we feel so much more accomplished by having worked on it together. And I think that Beneath the Scythe is a great example of that, where I mean, Dave's presence on the album can be felt throughout, but he has a freaking bass solo in the song, a thing we've never done before. And he was initially a little hesitant, I think, when we sort of thrown the idea out, like, what about a bass solo? And, even just conceptually, like, what does that look like? And I said, well, look, I got this idea for this kind of somber but beautiful, clean section. And Dave has been studying jazz for a long time and working with this jazz bass teacher for a couple of years. And so it gave him a chance to not only bring a bass solo into Khemmis, but to bring it in a way that if I had played it, it wouldn't have sounded anything like that. If Phil had played it, it wouldn't have sounded anything like that. And it's just this whole new level of the band that comes from saying, here's this song, now it's your turn. Now bring your element in and go nuts. Like, do what you want to do because we're going to love it. And we did.
Yes, and I was seeing the comments on the YouTube about the video, the song, and the
Mm-hmm.
fans go crazy. There's a lot of everyone is saying, "Oh, the best song, the band, no, best song, best song, best song." The fans love it, and there's a lot of comments. And what do you feel about that? The reaction of the fans?
It's it's not something we take for granted. Um, I mean, first and foremost, we make the music we make because, well, I think we have to. I don't know how to write music that isn't like if you said to me, okay, your job as a musician now is to write music that sounds just like this person, I couldn't do it. Um, or if I did, it would feel empty. And so the only way that I know how to create, the only way that we as a group know how to create is to make the music that if someone else had written and recorded it, we'd hear it and go, that's awesome. I love that. And if we feel that way, then our hope is that it comes across to the fans. There's no guarantee. There's always a chance you put an album out and fans go, this sucks. I hate this band now. And thankfully, that hasn't happened. The reaction has been overwhelming, especially because, I mean, on the one hand, look, anytime you put any piece of art out into the world, you are opening yourself up. I personally don't read record reviews of anything that I put out. The other guys do, and I tell them not to tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what the score is or anything like that. I don't care. What I do care about is when people, everyday people, say that something that we have put out into the world clicks with them. It makes them feel something. And if they like it a little bit, or they love it, or they think it's the best thing in the world, like that is worth so much more to me than any kind of award or getting a perfect score from this magazine or this blog or whatever, because music is an extension of the human experience. And it's not something that I think can really be adequately reduced to a score out of 10 or 50 or 100. It's something that speaks to being alive and how bad that can be and how beautiful that can be. And for people to take the time out of their day to listen to one of our songs, much less to feel connected to the entire body of work that we've done, I mean, what more could you ask for a response to your art than for people to say that they love it?
Yes, I agree with you. It's very important to feel the songs, to
Exactly,
people
exactly.
who really matter.
Exactly. Yeah. And there will always be somebody on the internet who wants to say, "Nah, I liked them better their second album." And if that's the case, great. Our second album still exists. Go buy it. Like
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere. But
there always
you
be
know,
the boring
yeah,
people that
yeah,
like.
exactly. And like I mean, we're all like that with some artists, like me, again, I'm wearing a Metallica shirt. If you ask me what my favorite Metallica album is, I'm not going to tell you it's 72 Seasons. I'm going to tell you that it's Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning or, depending on the day of the week. But that's okay. I'm also not, I never feel the need to go online and be like, Metallica should still sound like they did in 1986. Who cares? They're having a good time. They're bringing joy to people. That's all we get asked for in this world. And so
Yes,
when the fans have any kind of positive response to our new stuff, especially, I mean, my God, look at the state of the world. It sucks. Everything sucks. It sucks outside. It sucks everywhere. And it's not like this album is going to end war. It's not going to solve, global poverty. It's not going to solve racial inequality or gender inequality. It's not going to end transphobia or homophobia or misogyny or anything like that. But maybe if we're lucky and we've done our work right, maybe enough people hear it and they have just enough of a moment where they can breathe and they can feel a little joy and they can see a little bit of light in the darkness and it opens their heart up just a little bit. And then they can get that a little bit more, maybe from another song of ours or from someone else. And maybe it just keeps us afloat and just makes everybody a little bit more grateful, and a little bit kinder, and it makes heavy metal concerts a little bit sweeter. I mean, that's my dream. That's my hope. Will it happen? Who knows? But I like to think. I like to hope.
Oh, it's a beautiful dream. You were right. We could leave the world a little bit better for the people, it's
That's
good.
certainly the hope. Yeah, leave it a little
Yes,
bit brighter than how you found it.
yes. Make one people happy one day listening to your music. It's already a
I mean
conquest.
that's it. Like this reminds me. So we played a festival in Mexico City. I don't know, a few years ago. Um, and it was crazy. It was an amazing experience. We played on the same stage that a few hours later Alice Cooper played on. It was crazy. And we did an autograph session, and people were coming through and sharing some of the most profound and just heartwarming moments with us. This older guy and this younger lady come up, and it turns out he's her dad, and they had, for whatever reason, grown apart, become estranged. And he's an old school metalhead, and she loves metal. And something about our music helped them reconnect, and they came to the show together. This guy, a little bit later in line, comes up and he's like, I got to show you a video on my phone. He pulls his phone out, and it's his kid, probably 3 years old or so, having their first headbang to a Khemmis song. Like, even if those people never listened to us ever again, we impacted their lives, and they impacted my life. Like, I mean, that concert was, what year is it now? That was 8 years ago, and I still think about that. I like it gets me. I feel it in my heart. And so this also goes to show you that anytime anyone ever wants to say that like heavy metal is shallow or it's only about, I don't know, evil or the devil, like, yeah, we love the devil and we love evil, but we got a lot of heart too. There's a
Yeah,
lot of love in heavy metal that maybe isn't always present in other kinds of music. So maybe those critics need to shut up and go see a good heavy metal concert.
yes, I agree. I have two boys, and they listen to heavy metal and rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're
I love
we
that.
have rock and roll parents. Me
Yes.
and my husband.
Yes. That rules.
We have to teach the new generation, of fans.
Exactly. And like, metal won't be for every kid, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you had this experience growing up, but like, I grew up in a small town. I didn't discover heavy metal because I had like access to concerts or anything. I mean, literally, I started playing guitar, and then I read about like Metallica and Slayer in guitar magazines. But I had to have my mom drive me to the nearest big city, which was about an hour away, to buy CDs because Walmart didn't sell heavy metal
Oh,
CDs because they were satanic in my small town in Mississippi. And so like I felt very isolated growing up. I listened to this kind of music, and I wanted to dress this certain way. Like I got sent home from school for wearing a Slayer shirt, even though my mom was a teacher at that school. I still got in trouble. Um, and so the first time I went and saw an underground show, I was 17, and I got a friend to drive me to go see Cephalic Carnage, Mastodon, Dysrhythmia, and Soylent Green. And I mean, it changed my life forever. Suddenly there was this world of people that I didn't know existed. I didn't know what rock clubs were. I didn't know what dive bars were. I knew what a mosh pit was abstractly, but I'd never been in one. But I went to that show and I got beer spilled on me and I got knocked over because I was, a skinny 17-year-old, and it changed my life. And it takes someone sort of opening your eyes to that world to even give you a chance to find your place in it. So I think it
yes,
kicks ass that y'all are opening your kids' eyes to that. And like, maybe they change their taste down the road, or maybe they're metalheads for life. But either way, that's amazing.
yeah. It's in the blood.
It's in the blood. That's
And
it.
yes, I have a question about the artwork. It's very important nowadays because of everything. It's about AI. It's about everything. It's not real art. And looking at the album artwork and all the special editions with lyrics, RPG pieces,
Hmm.
the things that come with the record. And how important is art to you nowadays?
Extremely important. Um, the fact that any self-respecting musician uses AI for anything, they should be ashamed and disgusted, and we should all make fun of them and kick them in the butt. Like, just don't do it. Don't do it. When I hear, I won't name names, but certain old death metal bands, I think we all know who I'm talking about. Certain old death metal bands say, well, the album advances aren't what they used to be. We can't afford to pay an artist. Shut up. Yes, you can. There are artists everywhere that would love to have their art on the cover of anything, much less the newest release from some legendary band, instead of them going to, I don't know, Chat GPT or however you make AI give you crappy artwork. Don't do that. Art has been so devalued across the board, especially in American society, but really globally. Music, visual art of every sort, photography, anything that is seen as something that isn't a way to just make a bunch of money is called a hobby, is a thing you're supposed to outgrow, despite the fact that art predates Western capitalism. Art predates industrialization. Like, art has been part of human existence for so long, so much longer than the concept of money, and that we have bought into this garbage about money somehow being the marker of success, that only things that allow us to accumulate wealth are things worth doing and living for. I Look, I would love to have a bunch of money, but I've never had a bunch of money. In fact, I don't really have any money. I never have. I grew up poor. I'm still poor. I'll die poor. But I get to be part of a community of people who share themselves through art. Specifically in Khemmis, yes, our music, but collaborating with people like Christopher Rimmers, who did the art for our record, an amazing artist. I don't know how he's never done a metal album cover before, but he hadn't. I can only imagine that now people are going to be knocking his door down, trying to get him to paint for him. And you know, the experience of working with him and not just hiring him and saying, paint us a thing and that's it. But it was very collaborative. He and Phil literally went out into the woods in upstate Washington, gathered all of these elements, the mushrooms, the logs, the flowers, to create the reference photos that he then used to paint. He even had his wife model. I don't know if we put these pictures up on social media yet. I'm sure we will at some point. But his wife was the model for the Warrior Queen on the front. She's like, there are pictures of her decked out in leather and like striking the pose and all this. He took all these pictures and then painted it. And it being a collaborative process where we bring him this music and these lyrics, and then Phil is literally in person working with him to create this thing. Again, it goes back to the same approach with songwriting, that it's something greater than what any one of us could have imagined. I mean, when we saw the finished product, I don't want to say product, the finished version of the artwork, oh my God, knocked my socks off. When it comes to things like the lyric booklet, you know, um, Knox Frager Artworks, the guy that did that, did this amazing calligraphy by hand. Sure, we could have just downloaded a font. We could have just, again, I don't know how to use AI to make pictures, but presumably you could just Chat GPT it or Grok it or whatever. But no, like, we're gonna hire an artist, going to give them money because they are putting their time and heart and love into this project, and they're taking it seriously and we're taking it seriously. And the finished version of all of this has to be something that feels human, and it has to be something that evokes emotion in the person when they open the record. I mean, look, I've got the record right here. I can tell you that when I opened this gatefold for the first time, I teared up. Like, to
Oh,
see all of this come together, to see, I don't know if this is if there'll be video with this. If this is just an audio podcast, then people will just have to imagine. But to see what the calligraphy
it's
looks like,
beautiful.
it's
You
amazing.
Yes,
And
I,
like
I
I
love this time.
I I did the layout for the booklet and the album and everything, and I got to really appreciate how much. I mean, look at the band photo. The photographer that
Yeah,
we used, Brock Marlborough, is amazing, and he worked so hard to get these pictures right. And again, it's a beautiful collaborative thing. It's got our name on the cover, but an album, a good album at least, doesn't exist without lots of other people. Your
yes.
photographers, your people doing layout, the people that record you. In our case, Dave Otero, who has recorded every single one of our albums. You know, like it's a beautiful and exhausting collaborative process that reminds us, can remind us, I'll say, of what it feels like to be a human being.
Yes, it's art. The artist, everything, the music, the album, the lyrics, the photographs. It's all a piece of art, I think. So
Absolutely.
I love the band because of that. I
Thank
have
you.
one last questions.
Okay.
One last question. One.
Mhm.
When the album is finally out, I think it's on
2 weeks. Yeah.
two
June
weeks, I
12th.
think. Which track do you think will surprise people the most?
That's a great question. I think it kind of depends on what people are expecting when they go in, but I think Carrion King will surprise a lot of people because it is the heaviest song we've ever done. Um, if people thought the song Maw of Time was heavy, just wait till they hear Carrion King. Um, I'm excited to play all of these songs live, but that one, I feel like that one is gonna get people moving. It's gonna be a lot of moshing, a lot of headbanging. I'm really excited for that one. Um, and also Tomb of Roses, because it I think it is maybe the most dynamic song on the record, and it has um like my, I guess you could call it like my spotlight solo. It's the song where I take the longest guitar solo on the album, and I worked so hard on that solo. I spent months writing it, and then Dave Otero, our producer, really like made sure I nailed it. I don't even know how many times I had to play that solo, but he made sure I got it right, and I'm really excited for people to hear that.
It's amazing. Congrats. All the songs are amazing. I think
Thank
the
you so
people will
much.
love all the songs. Thank you for this interview. It was a pleasure for me. I'm from the
For
Road to
me as well,
Metal.
Paul. It was a joy to speak with you. Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. You are very nice. Thank you.
Yes.
Because I'm a
And I look
little
forward to.
nervous.
No, you were great. You did wonderful. You had wonderful questions. And hopefully we'll see you when we come to Brazil. I don't know when we're coming
Ah,
to Brazil, but we got to
for
do it
sure.
for
Okay, for
sure.
sure.